Greetings, my friends and crewmates. I welcome you to yet another Q&A. I am the captain, as you are hopefully well aware, and I must say, it has been quite a while. I hope you all kept busy in these times. I know many of our crew have been quite diligent in keeping our expedition underway. But to bide the time, we thought another Q&A would be an entertaining pastime. So, why don't we get things underway, huh? First question. When do I get a raise? Good start. Well, when you can learn to stop spilling your food across the galley floor every time the ship hits rough winds, I'll consider it. Assuming I know who wrote this, of course. You know who you are. What is the Otekh's goal? Are they sapient, given their abilities to impersonate sapient beings? Since they only drop their disguise once their allies are dead, not even if they're on the verge of death, their subterfuge is quite important for a being with no master to serve for however long. I was snoozing during whatever debrief we had. Are we sure the Kvarotz are leaderless? As one of the last Empire's creations before its fall, the Otekh is the most complex of all their death-defiling minions. Are they sapient? I would say not. Each of the Kvarotz machines was given a simple set of instructions by which they act. The Otekh was able to retain information of increased breadth and complexity. As such, its methods of infiltration are not conscious decisions, but a precise and lethal series of tactics. As for the intricacies of its subterfuge, we can only hypothesize. What is Kvarotz electrum, metallurgically speaking? To my understanding, mundane electrum is usually a balanced alloy of gold and silver, while the fines beneath the reliquary physically resemble something vaguely like cast iron or black bronze. It is possibly something else entirely, given its more exotic properties, and as someone with far more experience with the reliquary than I was hoping for your input. Yes, the confusion with typical electrum is understandable. Kvarotz electrum is a metal which is made malleable through a mixture of heating and sorceries not yet known by the common smith. Such is why the Wildlanders can wield it, but not properly forge it. Once tempered, however, the Kvarotz electrum becomes stone-like in its texture and hardness, but with the strength and resilience of metal. But remind yourself, it can emit a creeping madness which affects those who are of weaker will, and I have seen how weak-willed some of you can be from the questions you have submitted. Have you ever banned anyone from your ship? If so, who and why? Well, mostly those who submit questions which fill me with disgust and shame, of which there are more than I would like. What's your favorite type of cheese? Ooh, feta, I believe. Feta cheese. Yes, that is close to my heart. Tossed along with some fresh greens. Oh, I am getting hungry just thinking about it. Greetings, Captain. A question regarding your heritage. Since both you and the Dredge are survivors of the Osvendir Empire, were you perhaps able to bond on that ground? After all, you're from the same lands. If so, how is she like on a day-to-day basis? To clarify a point, I would not say that we share the same homeland. My birthplace remains here among the edge of the valley. We do, however, share overlapping histories. Our Imperial pilot is more than one of their elite mechanical warriors. She was the original creator of what would eventually become the Dredge and a unit to inherit its name. I suspect this is a surprise to you. That such a significant inventor would be here herself is a great stroke of fortune. As for our wonderful pilot, she and I have enjoyed our chances to reminisce on the glories and hardships we endured for the Empire. She bears well the troubles that come with war, particularly that involving the, at times, abhorrent potency of the Osvendir tools of war. Can you tell us anything that you know about the mountain god, and how his sword ended up in the sands of the exposed interior? I could tell you over many days the innumerable legends surrounding that man, though I would not be able to say with confidence which those are true. What is known for certain is that his final breaths were drawn down below. Those brave wanderers who take heart his unspoken teachings of freedom and adventure often take pilgrimage to these harsh lands to pay their respect to his grave. It is truly inspiring that through all this time, his legendary blade has remained in place, undisturbed even after countless warriors have reached his grave. And I'm certain it will remain there for ages to come. Captain, what do you like on your pancakes? I'm curious about it. From the squire. Oh, what was that translated name? Synonym, I believe? Yes, synonym. That, oh so unique spice synonym, the perfect addition to the exotic pancake. Hello, Captain. I've noticed that there is a considerable tacit understanding between you and Zarannis. It seems this is because you've known each other for a long time. Is there an interesting history between you two? I'm curious about the funny anecdotes from your service days and your thoughts on her. To say that she and I are familiar is to say one would be simply familiar with his own sister. Among those on his ship, I have known none for longer. Indeed, our careers began in parallel, and our struggles were very much experienced side by side. Recounting most of my voyages is to be a recounting of hers as well. And to say that I put the utmost trust in her hands is spoken wholeheartedly. When it came time for our paths to part, I should never forget how she told me that whatever jib I fly, she will stand beneath it. I would be surprised that she managed to locate me of her own accord all these years later, but I should expect nothing less from a scoutmaster of her caliber. Oh, I should dismantle now any rumors that we were in any way romantically connected. Lovely as she is, there is no bond of that sort between us, past, present, or future. How do the passing seasons affect life on the valley? Like weather, animals migrating. The valley is perplexingly unaffected by the passage of seasons from beyond its hills. The heat and gales do not subside or subdue, and the rain falls as sparsely in the winter as it does in the summer. Such as it is, the valley continues to hide many secrets before our very eyes. What are the Yngolians? Where are those who light the beacon transported to? And who made those beacons? Are these Y-cells their larva forms? The Yngolians. To ask what they are is to be seeking the wrong answers, as they are, it is difficult to explain in a short time, but do understand that the threat they pose is beyond common comprehension. As for the beacons, consider them like firing a flaming arrow into the night to probe the darkness ahead. And to make contact with these beacons is to pluck up one of the strands in like a spider's web, calling the beast to its would-be prey. And much like a spider's web, to become tangled in it is to be in a place that is not entirely foreign, but similarly not in a place you were meant to exist. As for the Y-cells, you will need to direct that question to the scholar Mora. My understanding of the Yngolian naming and physiology is tied more to that of what is most helpful in combat. Recently, I wondered, why do you put so much faith in that air from a distant land? I am not saying that they are bad, quite the opposite, but from the first day they arrived, you believed in them without a doubt. Mind saying where you met them? Sincerely, a fellow strategist. Shortly following my promotion to captain, I attended a gala held in the northwest corner of the empire. The Osvenger Navy wanted representatives present to boast its military muscle to impress foreign nobles and diplomats. Affairs of that nature are not at all within my realm of knowledge, so I cannot say for certain whether this was a method of intimidation or enticement. But that is besides the matter. I had struck up the most pleasant conversation with someone who seemed so very out of place. Do not interpret this as speaking ill, but they seemed of much less wealth and pomp than the other attendees. It was apparent that this was someone awaiting their impending fortune and was preemptively forming connections. Perhaps we could relate to one another in this way, that our fates were still unfolding. Dearest Captain, whom me and my fellows trust implicitly, thank you. He who we all owe our lives and a lot of money, also thank you. I ask this out of simple curiosity with no more motives than to get to know a man who has changed all our lives. Are you secretly crazy and evil? You have to tell us if you are. Those are the rules. Love, a very unconcerned and grateful crew member. Whew, that was certainly an extensive assortment of questions. In fact, many of the questions which had to be set aside were even more extensive, would you believe? Perhaps too extensive? Some much too extensive. And don't get it wrong, I appreciate the enthusiasm and curiosity of my crew, but perhaps we could condense future questions to, singular questions. Ones which do not carry over to the other side of the paper. All at the same time, I wish each of you the best, particularly during this unexpected lull in our grand voyage. I promise you from the bottom of my heart we are all truly grateful for your patience and your devotion to our cause. And I wish you all a beautiful day. Bon voyage.